Welcome to the Homeschool High School podcast. I'm Vicki, and I am so excited to talk to a new friend that I found on YouTube, and I love her videos. So welcome to CJ at Homeschooling Through High School. So CJ, say hey to everybody and tell us about your homeschool and why y'all decided to homeschool through high school, because you're doing it and you got this beautiful channel. So tell us about it.
So first of all, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it so much. And, my story, I feel, is like most, maybe, that I thought homeschooling was for weird folks. I would never, ever do it, ever. And then I met a young man in college, and he just happened to be homeschooled.
Oh.
And he is now my husband. And so I remember when right before we got married, talking about all the different things you chat about, I said, listen, I'm not going to homeschool. So let's just get that straight before we move into this marriage thing. And he was okay with that. He said, no problem. I was on a career path. I had a focus. I was driven, and I just wasn't going to do it. Plus, the only people that I ever knew that homeschooled were the folks on TV, and they were Little House on the Prairie,
Yeah.
And so anyway, so that's the beginning of this story. But as time went on, and then I was pregnant with my first little one, and the years went by, and we have to start thinking about school. We definitely wanted to start with a Christian foundation, a Christian education. And so we put my first, who is also my now high schooler, we put him in a pre-K, I guess it's pre-KK or pre-KK4 Christian school, and we were paying for that. And then now I'm pregnant with my second. Things just got a little interesting, I want to say, in the world. They were taking art out of school and music, and things were just going awry with on the news. I was watching the news a lot. And then not only that, it was just a matter of the way I was raised was to have, morals and values and great customer service and all this type of thing. And it just seemed like that was exiting the building, and so I thought to myself, I don't know if this can be. We can't, we're going to have a family. We'd like to have more kids. We're going to be paying for each child in Christian education. I know that we want to instill our morals, our values, our character, our godly wisdom that we're learning and that we have into our kids. And things are just a little too crazy in the schools these days. And I know that there's a place for public school, charter schools, and all these type of things, but we just chose at that point, it was like a light bulb clicked on, and we chose to homeschool. To the one who said she'd never do it. And so that's how we started. The years were rough. The elementary years were rough. And just by the grace of God, we got through it. And here I am. I have a high schooler and two in middle school.
That's so exciting. And then, when your oldest gets in middle school, all of a sudden, like, high school is coming and it's really serious, and you're going to really think about, like, what made you guys decide to go ahead and homeschool high school?
Yes, I thank you for asking, because there is a trend that I see, and maybe you see it as well. And that once we get to middle school, it's like, okay, I'm done. It's time to put them in high school. And for many, that is fine. And for their family choice, no problem. But somewhere around middle school, I just gained a lot of confidence, even more so from the younger years, that I can do this, because there are so many, and it is overwhelming. There are so many resources out there these days, and you don't have to do it alone, and you don't have to do every subject. And so I just gained the confidence, and my husband is a great help, and I found other sources to walk alongside with me. And I just said, we're going to do this. We're going to continue all the way through.
That's fabulous. Okay, which is why I found you, because I every once in a while will search on YouTube, who else is talking about high school and what can I learn from them. And then my friend Natalie Mack shared one of your
Yes.
videos, and I watched it, and then it's like, this is a gracious woman who has an encouraging homeschool. So you have this lovely couple of videos on tips for starting this homeschool process. So with your ninth grader, what are some things that you were learning to have a successful homeschool at the high school level? So I was wondering if you would share some of those tips with us.
I would be more than happy to. I have some notes here, so I'm going to glance
Okay,
over a little bit.
great. Yep.
But, I'm not an expert. These are just things that, I ask a lot of questions.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
from seasoned moms who
Yes.
have gone through middle school and
Mm-hmm.
stopped, or they continued on.
Mm-hmm.
And so I gathered all those tips, and one of the top tips that I would recommend is that you should have a relationship with your child. And no matter what that means, however that looks like, I think I say in the video, if you need to drop algebra for the day, or algebra 2 or pre-calculus, so that you can fix the relationship with your child, or better yet, just say, you know what, we're going to go out and we're going to go get some ice cream today, because I just want to bond with you. I just want to hang out with you. Right.
I cannot tell you how important that, I love that, because in the end, relationship is how they're going to grow.
Yes. And that would be my number one tip. I can't stress that enough. And I've done it many times with my ninth grader, whether we're butting heads or whether I see that his demeanor is just flushed. And the high school day is too hard. Whatever that looks like, it's just too much, too overwhelming. Or I remember one day, just not so long ago, I said, hey, you know what? We're not going to do such and such today. We're just going to take this hour and let's go. We're going out. We're going to go do something fun. And he was like, what? Huh? For real? I'm like, let's go. Let's go. Let's go do something fun, and we'll come back and we'll regroup. Nothing happened that day. I just said, you know what, today, I think we're just going to go do something fun for that hour. And I just believe in thou shalt have a relationship with, and you name your child, you put your child's name in the blank. So that's one of my first high tips.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure. One of the other things that I would totally recommend is to make sure that you have weekly meetings with your high schooler. You almost have to think of this as, I'm the mentor, I'm the mom, I'm the guidance counselor, right? At this stage. And so in high school, I remember meeting with my guidance counselor often.
Yes. Yes.
And so, so whether it is you and your husband, which I would totally encourage that, or you and another parent or guardian that is in the household, or maybe it's the grandparent that is helping on the homeschooling journey, meet with the child, check in once a week, sometimes twice a week. Okay, but have a designated time. We meet generally on Sundays, and sometimes it's 10 minutes, sometimes it's 5, sometimes it's an hour, because we have check-ins for spiritual growth. We have check-ins for what's going on in the last week that didn't work with you. Oh, well, this writing class that I'm taking, it's too much. What can we do? I'm not getting this algebra 2 section, chapter 5. I'm just not getting it. Okay, so let's figure out. Or it could be something with siblings that didn't come up. They didn't come and chat with you, and now they want to privately chat with you. Or they need prayer for something. And so weekly check-ins, just almost like a meeting, a scheduled meeting.
Right, like a one-on-one if they were out in the corporate world. Yep, absolutely.
Got it. Yeah.
Well, the cool thing about that is it teaches them to process. Like, I want to be aware. So when I have my one-on-one with mom, we can talk about algebra, or we can talk about how my siblings are irritating me, or I don't like this class, or this is what I love, I want more of. And that regular check-in teaches
Yes.
them. That's such a good life skill for communication.
Definitely, yes. And yeah, I just think it's so important. So that would
Mm-hmm.
be my
Mm-hmm.
second tip for
Yeah.
sure. You know, with high school, one of the reasons why people just say I'm not doing it, they don't feel capable, is
Mm.
because I feel they don't know that there's so many resources out there.
Yeah.
And here's the deal. Here's my other tip. This is tip number 3.
Yeah.
You don't have to do everything.
Amen. Yes.
You don't. And you don't have to feel less than
Mm-hmm.
because you decided to outsource science. Let
Mm-hmm.
me share this. If I were to teach high school chemistry or biology or any of those things, first of all,
Mm-hmm.
my kids wouldn't learn anything.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that,
Mm-hmm.
because that's just not my gift.
Yes.
And secondly, if I were charged to dissect a frog or something, I'd pass out. I would
Mm-hmm.
just pass out, and that
Mm-hmm.
would be the end of that. And so
It would be memorable, but not useful. Yes.
exactly. Yeah. And so there are so many resources and businesses and tools and websites like your own, you know, that you can get free curriculum. And there might
Mm-hmm.
be a neighbor, like for example, I have some neighbors that are more than happy to walk alongside my children. One is a
Mm-hmm.
surgeon.
Oh
I
my.
mean,
Yeah.
what better teacher than me to teach that, you
Yes.
know, if they want
Yes.
to take over biology.
Mm-hmm.
There are co-ops, there are
Mm-hmm.
enrichment programs,
Mm-hmm.
the list goes on and on. So
Mm-hmm.
outsourcing,
Yes.
I would highly recommend. And along those same lines,
Uh-huh.
tip number 4 um, is dual enrollment.
Yes.
So
Uh-huh.
twofold on this one. You can
Mm-hmm.
dual enroll your child in a local community college or an
Mm-hmm.
online college,
Mm-hmm.
or you don't have to.
Mm-hmm.
Just because dual enrollment is available
Mm-hmm.
doesn't mean it's right for your child. So that one's kind of
Exactly.
twofold. So you
Yeah.
can outsource it and do dual enrollment and get
Mm-hmm.
college credit
Mm-hmm.
as well as high school credit. And on the other hand, your child may not be mature enough for that college class, or it might not be the right timing. And
Mm-hmm.
so maybe dual enrollment is not the right
Yeah.
source for you at the moment.
Yeah, I know there's not one right way to homeschool high school, and some kids love dual enrollment. So I know my daughter, when she was in high school, was really into photography. Well, she couldn't get much out of that, from mom. And the community college had a really good photography program. So she would take classes there, and she graduated high school with a certificate
Okay.
in photography at the same time she graduated high school. But if she had done like her freshman composition class there, it would have ruined writing for her. She just did not, that would have taken the fun out of writing.
Yes.
And so
Yeah,
there's just all kinds of different ways. Each kid is different. So,
definitely.
but it's such a good
Definitely.
resource. And a lot of times the community college or the online schools have a discounted price for homeschoolers.
Yes. Very
Yes.
true. Very
Mhm.
true. I'm finding that out now. We're choosing not to do dual enrollment right now, but
Mm.
definitely looking forward to
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. So
Yeah, yeah.
great tips. Okay. Do you have another one?
I sure do. You know, this one I feel starts with most parents, I would say all, but I'll be careful there when their
Mhm.
children are younger. Um, my tip, and I really want to emphasize this, when I had my three under three at one point, and now
Mm.
they're moving into 7, 8, and 9, and those ages,
Mhm.
um, I would get this all the time. Oh, they're so cute and this, that, the other, but wait until they're teenagers. And I'm like, what? Are you seriously giving me that negative
Yeah.
feedback? I mean,
Yeah.
they haven't even, they're not even
Yeah.
in middle school yet, but you're just throwing this negativity at me.
Yeah. Mhm.
And I still get that now. And
Mm.
I have just chosen, and this is my tip, and I strongly advise this, to get rid of that negative teen chatter.
Amen.
I'm having a blast with
Yes.
my, now I have two teenagers
Mhm,
actually. And so
mhm,
I'm having a blast. So two teenagers and one that is 11. And I know that it's a different season,
mhm,
and there are different hormones and challenges and thoughts and questions, and I get all that. I was a teenager once as well.
mhm,
But, I do feel also that that's probably one reason why people probably choose not to do homeschooling through high school,
mhm,
is because they don't want to deal with all of the negativity that they've heard, and they
mhm.
feel they just can't do it. And
Yeah.
so I would just strongly suggest to just make sure you're surrounding yourself with people who are like-minded and who will speak words of encouragement and edify, like it says
Yes.
in the Bible.
Yeah.
Edify and speak into excuse me, your life and your teens, instead
Yeah.
of throwing, oh, the bad attitude and the this and the that. Okay, and they may have a bad attitude. Let's think about when you were a teen for a
Mhm,
little bit,
mhm.
and think about the uncertainty. If anything, they need you more than ever.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I have found that despite what the culture says, oh, the teen years, teens are such a trouble, is those were the best years of all in our homeschool adventure. Like our teens were so much fun. So
Yeah,
doesn't mean every
totally.
day's easy. It just means that there was so much fun and so much connection. Like they're old
You
enough to
got it.
talk things through and you can have deep, meaningful
Yep,
conversations and see
got it.
them, like our friend Anita Gibson says, like to see them become who they're supposed to be, like God really gave them those teen years to start exploring that. So
Yep,
yeah,
you
best
got
years
it.
yet.
You got it.
This is just the beginning of the tips that you have on homeschooling high school. It's such listen, everybody, I'm going to put links in the show notes and you've got to check out the videos. They are so encouraging and so sweet. So CJ, would you tell us how to find you?
Yes, thank you. So you can find me primarily at Homeschooling Through High School on
Mhm,
YouTube. All
mhm.
right. And I wanted to, when you do a search, I just wanted to show you this, if this was okay, because sometimes it's
Yes.
kind of hard. Here
Yes.
is the profile pic. All
Yeah.
right. This is what you would be looking for, but it's Homeschooling Through High
Through high
School,
school. So
is the name
for
of my
those who are just
YouTube
listening,
channel.
it's a circle with HTH.
Yep, you
And
got
it's
it.
it's easy to spot. It's yellow and black and white, so very easy to spot HTH. Yeah.
Yes, you got it. And
Mhm.
so that is my primary source of social media right now. I'm
Mhm.
on Facebook, just kind of quiet. There's same
Mhm.
logo and same name, but
Yeah.
I would love for you to join me on that channel. Thank you
Yeah.
so much.
Yeah. And we all need encouragement in life. It is just nice to just take a few minutes out and listen to another mom encourage the rest of us moms. So, yeah, highly
Agreed.
encourage it. So, check out in the show notes and we'll have links or just go search HTH there on YouTube. So, CJ, thank you for joining us on the Homeschool High School podcast.
Thank
And
you.
I'll look forward to connecting again.
Thank you
Yeah.
so much for having
Yeah.
me.
Yeah. So this has been the Homeschool High School podcast brought to you by Seven Sisters Homeschool.com and the Ultimate Homeschool Podcast Network. Thank you, Seth Tillman, for editing, and we will see everybody again next week.